for more?
Well, you sound so lonely every time we leave, I had to come back. Hello, RoahmMythril here once again, getting back to the 7th guest. So as we last left off, we were in the kitchen, headed down to the basement. It doesn't save your exact position in the room. Every room in the house has kind of a default position that when you return to the game after loading a save, that's where you'll be. So yeah, I didn't remember that we were right at the door. But quick enough to solve, and down we go.
Oh, I'm dying to see what you'll do next.
Yes, it's time for my never-favorite, a slide puzzle. Thankfully, there are only 5 moving pieces, so it's fairly easy. We need to make an opening so we can get through here. And we have these 2 obviously shaped pieces. We have to make a hole over here.
Finding things a little grating.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. If we just move this piece up and leave the gap down here, wouldn't it be even easier for us to get through?
Nothing ever seems to slide into place in this place.
Yeah, they thought of that.
If I plan to get around this grate, I'll need to get around.
What then if we do things the other way? Well, they didn't think of that. But we still have to play by Stoff's rules anyway. Again though, only 5 moving pieces, it's pretty simple. Yes, that's right, a sliding puzzle that even a Durgan can solve. Because normally I hate these things.
I have a bad feeling about this.
How does it feel to be the first living thing to set foot in these dungeons in... I can't remember how long.
You again? Just who are you? So, yeah. The grating was only the beginning. The basement is actually comprised of 3 puzzles, one right after the other. The second being a huge first-person maze. That's odd. Didn't we recently see a maze that we couldn't really do anything with? So yes, if you were paying attention, the rug in the Knox's guest room is indeed a map of the basement maze. So hey, if you sketch it down or screenshot it or what have you, you have a nice convenient map to aid in your travels. If not, well, 2 main things to keep in mind. First, the exit is actually right next to the entrance. As you're going into the maze, it would be directly to your right. Thus, that eliminates half the maze. You have the general idea of which side you want to go towards. The more direct thing you'll want to remember if you traced a path to the exit is you want to take the 5th right turn from the central path. Ignore all the left turns, they won't do you any good. From there, you'll still want to try and shift toward the right as much as possible, kind of steering yourself into this quadrant of the maze, heading toward the exit. Helpful! So yeah, with that, we're after the 5th right. So, let's move on. Number 1. Upcoming strange piano. They like for you to be unsettled here. That's the 2nd right. Third. Fourth. One more. Fifth right. So at this point, we know the general direction we want to go. We don't want to go that way. That leads to the wrong quadrant of the maze. We're going this way. And let's keep trying to get back to where we know the exit-entrance combo is. Now that being said, you still might get tricked here and there. Although at this point I'm doing this on purpose just to show off what happens if you hit a dead end.
Feeling lonely.
So yeah, no real penalty, you just have to know where you are and go back. So yeah, that seemed like it would be the right direction for where we need to go, but we're still in generally the right vicinity. We still want to keep going generally this way. Oh no, you're not going to trick me with this setup again, Stolf.
You shouldn't have turned down here.
Well, we know that means we're on the right way.
Don't think you'll be so lucky next time. Clearly, an open and shut case.
So, welcome to the crypt. And a puzzle that, unlike every puzzle we've seen thus far, doesn't have a set start state. This one, it's different every time you encounter it. The rules, however, are constant. The goal is to shut all the open caskets. However, there are lines of influence between them. If you select one of the corner coffins, it affects that coffin and all three bordering it, so a little square pattern. And basically, it shifts the state of all of those coffins. Open ones will close, closed ones will open. If you click one of the side coffins, it affects that entire side of the board. So like clicking this one, it would affect this one, the upper one, and the lower one. Clicking this one would be the entire bottom line. If you click the central coffin, it changes the state of basically the central cross of coffins. This entire line and this entire line. So using those rules, we have to close everything.
An open and shut case. Or casket, perhaps. The four winds change at every turn?
It's one that you can just kind of solve via brute force sooner or later. And I think we're just about done. Now this is another puzzle that kind of glitches a bit on the Switch version from my experience. After solving it once, it immediately starts up again and you have to solve it a second time. Maybe they thought this one just has the possibility of being solved way too quickly, as we kinda did here.
Finding things a little cryptic.
Just me, or does this look like the start of Tales from the Crypt on that subject?
Come with us now!
Let me go!
There's something wrong with her.
It's all right, son. You're okay. Don't worry. It's just an illusion. An illusion. An illusion. An illusion. An illusion.
Okay, so, couple of things about that scene. First off, well, now we know Temple wasn't the first to die. He managed to take out Edward Knox, and, actually, Martine Burden. According to the novelization of the game, what we just saw counts as Martine Burden's death. Apparently, she was killed by stealth/the house itself. Since she decided that she wasn't going to play the game by herself and was going to take on a teammate, Stealth decided to see her and Edward as one cohesive unit. So, with one dead, the other had to follow. Thankfully, we get a shortcut back out. And with that, we are done with the basement. Now this next part can be a bit of a guide, dang it. We don't really have much access to anything else in the house right now. In order to get access, we have to see a particular scene. And for that, we have to revisit the library. I forget if the trigger for this scene is that we have to solve all of the puzzles we have so far, or if it is purely that we have to have taken care of the stuff in the basement first. But either way, it's open now.
Singing upstairs like some mad choir.
Well, I heard nothing except you rummaging around your room, yelling like a crazy man.
And I saw blood. How ghastly.
I don't know how to describe what I saw. Why, none of you has ever seen it.
None of the rest of us saw anything. How boring. I suggest we all leave and have some supper.
I think that we were meant to eat the soup.
Wait. We need some rules. We need to stick together, play as a team.
Oh.
Don't be such a bore, darling.
It's a game. That's why we were invited. It's a game. Everyone for himself. Or herself. Crazy old stuff is watching us, scaring us, watching us play at his puzzles. Only he knows the rules. Only Staff knows the rules.
So interesting that Edward there already was talking about everyone needs to work by themselves, which, wasn't even considering working with his own wife. Of course, we kinda know he had his own agenda.